Lying in the womb, I used to bathe in the souls of generations past. How I forget all that. When I was born, I was torn from my mother's chest, and they took my spirit and squeezed me until I was drained, turning my frame into a hollow lyric. And they would take my liquid spirit and bathe in the glory, consuming what they wanted as a means of protecting themselves from being haunted by ghosts of remorse. And I tightrope walk on this rugged course, trying to fill myself back up. An empty volcano ready to erupt, holding hollow heart as cupping hands, panhandling for my spirit, accepting donations of illegitimate identifications. And as the lies began concentrating in my mental, they dilute my values, rampaging endocytosis on my focus, imperialistic thoughts wrapping themselves around my emotions, and my brain goes into convulsions, booming memories to the four corners of my conscious. I was born with thunder raging, churches blazing, the dead swaying above my head, too traumatized to fly to heaven. I offer my heart as haven. I remember the earthquakes that shook the earth's crest when I was split from my mother's chest, and the hurricanes that came when my purpose was slain and my name became a simple word instead of a spirit living within me. And I remember the rain that brought lightning and thunder as sacrifice to my soul. But I wipe storms out the face of the sky, cause I hate it when my mother cries and her sore cheeks bleed rainbows against the blows of the sun, and the tears told me how to get my spirit back. But my confidence lacked faith and I couldn't read the colors, so I got smothered by the beams my mother's prism created. And I hated how these refractions was wrapping themselves around my heart, so I hollowed out my heart and began to beg for a new start, commodifying the external content of what was left of my soul. And I laid in my stone mold, which was 400 years older than I, and the constraints hurt, but I was hypnotized, and I began to fiend for lies, and I began to blend with the stone, but it cost too much to be a clone. So I took my hollow heart trying to pay for what I thought was home, but they caught me selling nickel bags of funk in culture-free zones where the kids are drones and have bones made of dollar bills. And I spoke on these ills and the peace bleed me. Oh, the police beat me until I was unconscious enough to be read my rights. On the floor bleeding, they started to shine a light in my face, but this burning started to make my brain stagnate, made my subconscious great dichotomous thoughts, separating cross from crucifixion, understanding the refractions of my mother's prism, putting false benedictions under inquisition, and making the ultimate decision to heal subconscious incisions made by colonizers when they conspired to take identity and land from my forefathers and morph it into tabula rasa, nothing, erasing all connections to brothers, building spiritual borders and their illegal law and order, drawn and slaughtered on all hope that was left. And hope took 8 short breaths and told me the truth before her death. In her last breath, she told me of my ascension and the intention of this foul world that got my soul in detention. And they tried to make me cop a plea and live my life independence, but I was like the Fifth Amendment. See, I'm the descendant of truth, and my thoughts were dead until hope made my words living proof. So the knights prepared that noose and the scalpel for my castration. But their definition of manhood was so complacent, they had not a clue to the gift I had given or the one I received. And they couldn't see that this tree was really hanging on to me, and I was finally one with my brethren. So now I sit in heaven, telling God my story, and God rubbed my head gently and said, "You are loved, could never be empty." Man, congratulations, y'all. Man, it's all love, man.